So I'm going to show you how to create viral AI UGC content that's actually going to get you paid. This is the kind of content that brands are jumping at right now. This hyper-realistic AI UGC content. And I'm going to show you why they are jumping at this opportunity, why they're going to pay people like you $50 to $100 for every video that you create. This content is hyper-realistic. 99.9% of the market don't even know that this stuff is AI generated. Now, I showed Michael here how to do this, how to actually produce high-quality AI UGC content. I'm going to show you an example of what he produced. And he is now being paid $50 for every single video that he generates just from one client. This client wants about 20 videos a month. That's $1,000 per month for Michael just to generate some simple AI content. Now, all three of these examples on your screen right now are AI-generated pieces of content. Now, I'm just going to play all of these so you can see them. I'm just going to mute all of them so it's not playing in my headphones while I'm playing this. But every single one of these videos was 100% AI-generated. Not a single scene in this wasn't AI generated. So all the B-roll shots, that's B-roll, that's AI generated. This is B-roll, that's AI generated. B-roll shot, AI generated, AI generated, AI generated. This is the kind of content that brands are jumping at right now. This is super realistic stuff. The B-roll really sells us content, and all of this was generated using one single piece of software. And I'm going to show you how you can do this as a beginner in 2026, start monetizing this skill and start getting brands to pay you for the kind of content that you're creating. I'm in this group here full of e-com brand owners, SaaS owners, like software coaches, consultants, course sellers, people that are actively spending a lot of money on paid ads right now. And this person is asking, how much do people typically pay for a traditional UGC creator? Tony here says, if you want high quality UGC content, expect to pay $500 for a solid creator, if not even $1,000 for every single video that you need. This person's nearly paying $2,000 just for a piece of UGC content. And so when Michael goes to a client and says, I'm going to charge you $50 for a video, you can see why they're jumping on that opportunity. Meanwhile, one of the most common ways to make content as a beginner, if you're watching this video, is to post AI content onto TikTok and YouTube. And TikTok does pay around $1 for every 1,000 qualified views that you get. But most people don't know how to go viral. They don't know how to get millions of views. And so then it's a really difficult way to actually monetize that content. Whereas going to hundreds of brand members in here and doing what I did, which is say, look, this is AI content completely generated by AI. And everyone is absolutely interested with this. They're like, this looks fucking sick. I need this. I need to know how to make viral AI UGC content for our brand. So if you're a beginner right now and you're looking for a good side hustle, a good business model, go ahead and click the first link down below in the description. I have created a 500 slide presentation, free training that I go through showing you exactly how to make viral AI UGC content, how to monetize it, how to start making money from it, how to get brands to pay you, and the step-by-step instructions that you need to do in so much detail to go ahead and get yourself started. If you want to watch this, it's 100% free to attend. It's about an hour long. Just go ahead and click that button down below in the description, register, watch it, learn how to do this. It's going to take you through everything, how to go viral, how to make the content, how to find the brands, how to monetize it, how much to charge. It's going to be an absolute blast for class. So I'll leave the link down below in the description if you want to watch that. Like I say, it's 100% free to attend, but by the end of that class, you'll have everything that you need to go ahead and start making viral AI UGC content, how to monetize it, and a few different methods you can use to start making money by the end of the week. Now, in the meantime, let me just show you what you actually need to do to create super high quality AI UGC content. Now, with these examples here that I showed you just a minute ago, every single one of these relies on two things. We have what we call A-roll, and then we have B-roll. So this opening shot here of the woman, that is A-roll, this is B-roll. So this is A-roll, so when they're talking in the microphone, that's what we call A-roll. And then when they're just doing supporting things in the background, that's B-roll. And so you can see here, this shot, which I've created, which has no audio, it's just a character who's just riding a train. This is AI generated, that's what we call B-roll. This character who's sitting in the car, who's just texting on his phone, eating a sushi roll, just doing nothing really, that's B-roll. This is supporting material that we can add to our video to make it look even more realistic. And if you watch any influencer, you'll see that most people do exactly the same thing. Most influencers have some form of thing that they're doing in their content that just supports the video that they're talking about, that is really natural, and that's what B-roll is. So the first thing that you'll want to do is you're going to want to write scripts, all right? So you're going to need to write a script for your video. So inside this specific software, which I use all the time, you can come into Scriptwriter and you can actually just tell it to write an ad for you. So you can say, for example, like, write me an ad on hex-clad saucepans and why they're so good. Right, this you can just do whatever you want. You can go, for example, science, and then go ahead and click on generate scripts. Now you can customize the length of that video. You can give it a much better prompt if you want. I'd definitely recommend doing that. Now, once you have your script, you can then come down to Ad Builder, and we're going to start generating our first avatar. Now, there are multiple different ways of doing this. We're going to use ChatGPT Image 2. We're going to select 2 by 3. And I'm going to show you two methods. The first one we put on high, which is simply going to describe the avatar that we want. So I'm going to say, make me an... I'll do this and I'll come back actually one sec. So this is a really simple prompt. This is what most people typically do. It's just like, make me an image of a woman who's sitting cross legs. You know, she's wearing clothes from around 20 feet away, or I will say 10 feet actually. I think 20 feet is a little bit too far. And she's wearing comfortable stuff, right? And she's in a girly room with a girly couch. They'll go ahead and click on generate, and that will then just generate an image based on their prompt. And there'll be some hallucination. Now, I always find that when you do that, the image that you get is not exactly what you're looking for, and it doesn't look that realistic. And so instead, what I like to do is find a real image, just like this image here. Then I like to go to the AI, is take that image and just change the character in the image, right? So you can see we've got this image here, and then if we come into Clonio, and you come down to the software, you can see I've generated this image here. And so it's done a few key things. Number one is it's changed the character. So the person looks completely different. And it's really important that we're not using anybody's likeness, but I've taken the shit that people doesn't really matter, right? The train that he's on and the view out the window has also been changed. So you can see there's subtle differences between it, but essentially what I've done is I've said, recreate this image, just change the person to X, Y, and Z type person. And what you can also do is you can take that one step further. So you can say, for example, we can take a male UGC creator, or let's do a female UGC creator, because this is what we're doing in the current generation right now. And I like to look for creators that are slightly farther away from the camera. So this kind of content, but they're super close to the camera. I don't like doing this, and this is because sometimes AI has some problems with lip syncing, and so when their mouth is really big and it's close to the screen, close to the camera, you can pick up on those problems a lot easier. Whereas if you've got a shot like this, where she's sat quite far away from the camera, you can see her whole body, it doesn't pick up that much, and it looks way more natural, or even content like this. And so what we can do is we can take any one of these images, for example, this one that looks supernatural. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click play on this. I'm just going to do Shift Command 4 on Mac. I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of that shot there. Then I'm going to go back into the software. We're still going to use GPT Image 2. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload that reference image. So we go to Reference Images, and then I'll drag and drop it into this section. And I'm just going to come to the prompt, and I'm just going to say something like recreate this image exactly, just change the person who's in it into a different person, and she's looking at the camera. She's a blonde woman and she's slightly older and she's wearing more comfortable clothes, but keep the room exactly the same and the sofa exactly the same and everything else in the environment exactly the same. We're just changing the look of the person and the clothes that they're wearing, right? And so I'll get that going. All right, so this is my prompt. I'm going to put it on high. Right, and we're going to go ahead and click on generate. Now you can see this is the previous example that we just generated, and you can have a look at this, but my biggest concern with AI generated images from scratch is you don't have that natural feel. Everything's a little bit too uniform, everything's a little bit too perfect, the doorway seems a little bit too thin, everything's lined up perfectly, there's no mess, it's all a little bit too kind of constructed. And so when you take a real image, something like this for example, and you compare it to something like this, you can see this looks too polished, and when you create UGC content, you almost want it to look slightly more natural. And so now you can see we have a much more realistic image, right? So we had this one, and now we have this one. The only thing that I would be conscious of is when you prompt it is try and make a more natural woman, because AI tends to kind of like beautify and make things look like the most attractive version of like traditional people. And so if you try and make it look a little bit more natural, you can also get away with a little bit more stuff as well. One thing that you could do is you could take someone who's on Pinterest and you could literally just type in like 28-year-old woman. You can do this on Google Images as well, and you can just take inspiration from what people look like. But you'll see when you take certain images, traditionally people are very posed, they're not very natural. Or you can go to TikTok, find people and say, create me someone that looks similar to this. But we're trying to find someone that looks kind of like the average person, someone who's like a supermodel. That's not really what we're looking for, because it's not relatable to the audience when we create it for the brand. Depends what kind of content you're creating. Now, once we've done that, I'm going to go to Nano Banana Pro, and I'm going to change this to 9:16. 4K, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to say recreate this image exactly and make absolutely no changes whatsoever. And then I'm just going to upload the image we just generated, and this is just going to put it into a 9:16 aspect ratio, which is perfect for like TikTok content. Then while that's generating, I'm going to create this woman. I'm going to put her in lots of different environments. So again, we're going to come to here, and I'm going to find, for example, like woman in cafe. All right. And you'll see that I do this literally all the time, right? So we find, for example, this, right? I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this woman in the cafe. And I'm going to come back to the software, and we're going to upload both of those images this time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the woman that we've just created. We're going to upload that. We're going to be using Nano Banana Pro for this one, which is still a very good image model, but it's not quite as accurate or as good as GPT. And we're going to upload the image that we've just taken a screenshot of, but we're going to go straight to 9:16. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, replace the woman in reference image 2 with the woman from reference image number 1. She's wearing the same clothes as reference image number 2 woman, but it's the blonde woman from reference image 1, and she's looking at the camera this time, and she's not holding the microphone. Keep everything else exactly the same, just change the woman. So we're going to paste that in. Bang, go ahead and click on generate, and then this is what we're going to be using to create what we call B-roll footage. So this is the kind of content that we're seeing here, right, which is them in a natural environment that we can then start to use to add as like supporting footage in our content. This is the one key thing that's going to make a massive difference to all of your content. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to learn exactly how to do this and how to monetize UGC content, get brands paying you thousands of dollars a month, and learn how to do this step by step, go ahead and click the link down below in the description. It'll take you to this free class. It's a free training. It's about an hour and a half long. It'll take you through everything that you need to know about how to find brand deals, how to make good content, how to go viral, how to get lots of views, like everything that you need to know is all in this free training. So it's all down below in the description if you want to register. It's 100% free to attend, but it can go into a lot more detail in about an hour and a half than the stuff that I'm teaching in today's YouTube video. So if you're interested, go ahead and click the link down below in the description. So now we have our first image in 9:16 aspect ratio. This is pretty much ready for us to go ahead and download. So we can click the download button. You can see it's going to load up. This is in 4K quality, so it's super high quality. Probably don't need to do it in 4K, but I just have a habit of doing this. You can click control click, and then we can click save image, and we'll just save it as UGC woman 2. I can't spell. Come back into here, and now we're going to start turning this into a piece of content. And you can see we also have our second image, which is the woman who's standing in the cafe. We're also going to go ahead and click download on that. And now I'm not going to create a full video in today's tutorial, but what I will do is show you roughly the process that I go through to create viral AI UGC content. So again, we'll click, we'll just call this like B-roll for now, save that here, and we'll come back. Now there are loads of different video models that you can use inside the software, but if you go into video and you go to Kling V3, and 1080p, generate audio, and make something about 8 seconds to 10 seconds. I wouldn't ever go beyond 10 seconds because sometimes you can get some artifacts in your speech. And I'd put here, I'd say no music, and I'd literally just say something like, the woman in the image speaks in a clear British accent and gesticulates as she talks. And then I'll describe how she speaks. So I'd say she speaks calmly and clearly and not rushed, right? Something like that. And then I'd say she says, and then like this is where you paste in your video script. And so what I've done here is the example I've used is, okay girls, my wedding is coming up in 3 months time, and I'm going through all of these photo albums with my friends trying to create place cards for the tables. And I've just discovered the best wedding hack I've seen in my life. And then I say she gesticulates, and she picks up some of the pieces of paper next to her, and she moves naturally and picks up the pad and kind of like she's talking, all right? So just a little bit of a natural kind of tone to things. Go to upload image. We're going to need to grab the image that we just downloaded, which is our UGC woman, all right? And then all we're going to do is going to go ahead and click on generate. Now, 95% of what makes viral AI UGC content is the preparation, which is finding the people to generate, and then it's the prompt that we give the AI. And the rest of it is really up to the AI models. So once that's generated, once that's uploaded, we're going to go ahead and click on generate, and it's going to send us the software, and that's going to do all the hard work for us. While we're doing that, we're also going to use Kling, and for this I'm just going to do 7 seconds. I'm not going to bother with the audio, and I'm not going to bother putting it 1080p, and I'm going to upload our B-roll footage. And this is what's really going to sell your content. I typically say for a minute video, you want about 7 to 8 pieces of B-roll, just supporting material throughout your piece of content, and that's what's going to make your video look so much more realistic. So for example, if we look at this one here, right? So we have our main video. I'll just put this into 2x speed here as it kind of goes through. So we have our main video, I put some title text on this. Then we have that one, first sitting on the sofa. Then that one there, over a cafe, another one in the cafe. That's 3. This one's 4. And then we have our 5th one in an elevator, 6th one. And then we have our 7th one here. And so then what I do is I just like cycle back through them, and I just put them in again. And so 7 pieces of B-roll content just really sell the video. And so what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to say, she's posing naturally, waving at the camera and walking around this cafe as if she's on holiday. And it's just a natural situation, filmed on an iPhone camera with subtle camera shake. So I'll do like with subtle camera shake. And the reason why we want to do with subtle camera shake is because that just makes it look even more believable. Sometimes things are too firm, they're too much on a tripod, and so if we add some subtle camera shake, we're going to get these realistic videos. So we now have the talking head shot on the video, so I'll play that now so you can hear what that sounds like. So here we go.
Okay girls, my wedding is coming up in 3 months' time and I'm going through all of these photo albums with my friends trying to create place cards for the tables, and I've just discovered the best wedding hack I've ever seen.
So that is a pretty fucking impressive piece of AI content. Have I ever, seen anything like that? It's pretty cool, right? And then the next thing that's been created is this piece of B-roll content. And so we have here, she's smiling, she's waving to someone behind the coffee counter, and she's just moving around and walking around. Now that bit where she spins, like it looks a little bit, if we try and track. Okay, no, it's actually fine. It's just the flowing fabric. It looks like her legs kind of morph to each other, but they don't. It's actually pretty good. And so what we can do is we can take these two pieces of content, we can come here over to the editor, and so you do this repetitively, right? And so what I would also recommend doing is once you have this shot, right, we can also upload this, and I'll show you, we're going to do one more thing. And so when you create your AI content, you want at least 2 different camera angles. So we're going to take this woman who's in this pose, but I'm going to tell her to go into a slightly different pose. So actually I'm going to go back to images first before we do this. We're going to Nano Banana Pro, and then let's upload that image. So we'll go here, upload this, and I'm going to say, remake this image exactly, but this time I want the woman to be sat on the floor leaning up against the edge of the sofa. So it's exactly the same room, but the camera angle is a little bit lower, so she's now sitting on the floor, the camera's on the floor with her, so she's like sat on the carpet and it's looking at her. Everything else is the same. The photo album and the pieces of paper and stuff are all on the sofa still. She's just now changed position. She's sat comfortably on the floor. She's still holding the microphone. Right, so what we're doing is we're basically just taking our same winning piece of content, but we're now just changing the camera angle subtly. So we then have 2 different pieces of content where she's kind of moving position and stuff. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because if you look at most traditional like UGC creators, they don't just stay in the same spot for each clip, right? So they're doing different things. So maybe not this specific video, I'll try and find an example. So for example, this creator, we have this wide shot and then she zooms in and cuts and changes the camera angle a few times just to make the video a little bit more interesting. So there we have a different camera angle. So this is 2 slightly different camera angles in the same space. And so that's essentially what we're trying to recreate. And so when you ever create AI UGC content, your whole focus should be what content actually goes viral and is performing for real UGC creators, and then how can I recreate that as accurately as possible with my AI content. And so now you can see we have our first image and then we have our second image where everything else is exactly the same. She's just changed position and she's now sat on the floor. And so we can now turn that into video content. And so what I'd recommend doing is your first 2 video clips. So it's like 2 followed by 2 followed by 2. So 2 video clips at this camera angle, maybe 1 or 2 video clips at this camera angle, then go back to this one, go back to this one, go back to this one, just kind of just jump between the 2 and just keep the video a little bit more engaged and a little bit more interesting. Then what you can do is you can come here into the editor and you go into create new edit, call it whatever you want. I'm going to call this UGC video test, create, and this will essentially replace your CapCut subscription. So you can go into your My Assets, go to your videos, and then you can just import all the videos that you've just generated straight away. So you can keep this all inside the same software account. And like I said earlier, if you go to the free training that's linked down below in the description, it'll show you how to get access to this software, set up an account, and get a bunch of bonuses as well when you do that. And so if you want to do that, just go ahead and click that link down below in the description. My Wi-Fi is terrible. Okay, sorry. My Wi-Fi is bad, so it's just not uploading it because it's not linking. But once you've imported them in here, then what you can do is you can just adjust the size of them. So you can crop it like this. You can come into here. You can split the image. You can come into here and you can change the size of it. You can zoom in and change a couple of different clips. So now what we can have is we can have this, and then it jumps between 2 different sizes. And then what you can do is you can go into your My Assets and you can import your B-roll and you can overlay that footage as well. There we go. So now we've got the B-roll overlaid. I can then just adjust this. And so you can start to see how this video can look a lot more realistic. So once I'm playing this, and so you can start to see how this starts really turning into a cool piece of content. And then it switches between the other one and then back and forth, back and forth. And then once you're happy with everything, you can just click export. And so the whole process of creating a viral piece of AI UGC content really stems from number 1, the reference images that you use to make them look realistic, and number 2, it's how you compile them together, add the B-roll footage. And I would say that the biggest thing is making sure that it feels natural and the script sounds normal. One thing you can also do is you can take video scripts like this, like from a real UGC creator. you can go into the software, then you can go down to the script writing section, and you can actually paste in the image or the video link, and you can basically just say like, recreate this video for me, and it will take the script from the YouTube video or the TikTok video or the Instagram video, and it will recreate it. So if there's a competitor's ad, or if there's an ad that, you know, has worked well before, you can just recreate it using the software, take that script, break it up, create the different clips, create the B-roll, and compile it all together inside the edit, which is pretty cool. And so, like I said, if you want to attend this class, which is about an hour and a half long, about 500 different slides, taking you through step by step how to do this, how to start earning from your content, the link's down below in the description. It's 100% free. There's a bunch of bonuses at the end that you can get just to get you kicked off and get you started. Definitely recommend going along. The link's down below in the description. And if you have any questions, you want any more tutorials that I've not covered, please let me know down below in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to make them for you.